We just keep winning. Hamas Piker, a man known for being the largest leftist political streamer of all time, has partaken in all of these riots that's gone on, and he has leaked an email that he got from the Department of Homeland Security saying that they were looking into him. In other news, Karoline Leavitt, the United States press secretary, decided to show up and answer questions from the press, some hard-hitting questions, all about the riots, all about the Hamas Diddy Pikers of the world, the terrorist supporters and sympathizers, Iran bullshit, and everything else. This is going to be one of the wildest episodes to date. But before we get into the meat and potatoes of how the Trump government is actually going to focus on punishing criminals, we need to talk about the criminals. So this is what Hamas Piker said on his stream just a couple minutes ago.
And I looked through my emails to find whether or not the Department of Homeland Security had responded to my redress over my trip.
Right, his trip.
I also found out...
Right, because remember, he claims he was detained for 2 hours, even though it was probably 5 minutes?
...out that a while back...
Oh, a while back.
...they had also revoked my global entry.
They revoked his global entry! So, do you remember when he ran this giant hoax? A massive hoax, how he was detained in the airport for 2 hours? No shit, he was detained for, however long he was detained for. Unlawfully. He tried to get in through global entry even though the Department of Homeland Security revoked it. Oh my God. Bro really tried to make this whole Jussie Smollett situation. He tried to Jussie Smollett the government. That Trump, evil Trump and his evil administration, they grabbed him by the throat, by the douche nozzle, and they fucking detained him for 2 hours. Do you remember that? He got every media freaking industry on the goddamn America to start talking and yelling about how he was unlawfully detained. Of course he was detained. Duh! The Department of Homeland Security revoked his global entry, and he still tried to get in through global entry. Unreal. And he was an entire news cycle. Dude, you don't understand how insufferable this is. If you just look up Hasan Piker detained, all right, you put it into Google News, look at all of these articles. Popular left-wing streamer says he was detained at the airport. Don't yap to cops. His custom story. Pro-Gaza streamer detained for hours. And it's all because he was kicked off global entry. Global entry is like a fast track that you can just basically skip through the airport security. But they didn't trust him. So it turns out I was right. It was a hoax. All right? That's first. First and foremost. Second of all, why did they kick him off global entry? So now that we are very satisfied with the fact that we know that he lied and hoaxed the fucking government, and I think it's important to note, why would the government kick him off of global entry? Could it perhaps get even better than this? Yes, it can.
So I finally got a response back from the Department of Homeland Security, but they had already taken away my global entry clearance months prior. So no shit they asked him questions in the airport. He tried to cut security. Dude. Holy shit. Holy fucking shit. And he ran this giant slander campaign on the government. Like, dude. Oh my God, the Trump administration is detaining YouTubers for freedom of speech. They revoked it before my entry.
Bro, dude, do you realize how fucking stupid you sound?
And I didn't even know. And what's even crazier is at no point did they even mention that they had revoked my global entry. And
Right, of course not. Except for the email that they gave you. Remember Hasan being detained for 99 hours over his political beliefs, aka 15 minutes? Well, months earlier, his card was revoked and he didn't read the email. Messes up paperwork, revoked application, used his card anyway, gets stopped, lies about timeline. Chat, is this 1984? Is the Trump administration literally silencing us, guys? Are we getting silenced by the Trump administration? Is that what's happening right now? Are we getting silenced? Anyway, we actually got the leaked email from the Department of Homeland Security months ago, revoking the global entry, and I think it's important to see what the actual government had to say about this fucking terrorist simp. Now, the funny thing is, it's really, really nice to see the fact that people are actually starting to say, if you fuck around, you find out. I feel like the only reason why Hasan actually admitted this, by the way, is because, he knew that this shit was going to come out anyway, and he was going to look like a giant fraud, so better bite the bullet himself. I feel like that's why he had to do, because the government is actually arresting people. Apparently, over 330 people were arrested in LA for being part of the riots.
Not enough! But it's a start. So, Global Entry is a voluntary program available to travelers that pass a comprehensive background investigation. Applicants found to be ineligible for Global Entry participation may still be permitted to enter the United States, although they will not be permitted to use the Global Entry dedicated lanes, which, remember, Hasan did. We regret to inform you that your membership in Global Entry has been revoked for the following reasons. You do not meet the program eligibility requirements. If you believe this decision was based upon inaccurate or incomplete information, you can try again, another application, yada yada. Dear Hasan, Diddy Bin Laden, Epstein, Khamenei, Piker. Thank you for submitting your traveler inquiry form and identity documentation to the Department of Homeland Security Travelers Readiness Redress Inquiry Program regarding your participation in the Global Entry Program. CBP is tasked with the protection of our nation's borders. Oh, motherfucker has a problem with borders, doesn't he? As well as enforcing numerous laws at our nation's ports of entry on behalf of a variety of other governing agencies, including state, local law enforcement, CBP officers, that's the Customs Border Patrol, routinely access information provided by these agencies to conduct examinations. All internal travelers attempting to enter the United States, including all U.S. citizens, are subject to examination on each arrival into the country because obviously fucking duh, they ask you questions in the airport. Occasionally, CBP may inconvenience. It may even inconvenience law-abiding persons in our effort to detect, deter, and mitigate threats to our homeland caused by a few individuals who are involved in illicit activities. We rely on the patient's cooperation and understanding of travelers to ensure the effective protection of our borders. After careful review, you ready, guys? Are you locked in? We have determined that your Global Entry Program membership was revoked because you do not meet the guidelines for program participation. An individual is eligible to participate in the Trusted Traveler Program if CBP, at its sole discretion, determines that the individual presents a potential risk for terrorism. Border Patrol watches the How Fucked Is This on Piker franchise, for real. Criminality, violating customs, agriculture, or immigration laws, or is therefore not a low-risk traveler. The risk determination will be based in part by an applicant's ability to demonstrate past compliance with laws, regulations, and policies. Reasons why an applicant may not be qualified for participations include, but are not limited to. And then it's a whole lot of things. False or incomplete information, arrested in the past, found violation of customs immigration, subject of an investigation by the federal, state, or local law enforcement agency, inadmissible to the United States under immigration laws. You ready for the next one? The applicant is known or suspected of being or having been engaged in conduct constituting, I have dyslexia, in preparation for, in aid of, or related to terrorism. Oh, Big Brother's watching, baby. Big Brother's watching. Oh, Lord. Oh, frickles, schmickles. Yikes. Yeah, so bro's actually getting fucked. Now, I personally find this very funny. Very, very funny indeed. You know, and then there's another thing. In the event that it's denied, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Signed by this guy, from, you know, the Department of Homeland Security. So I think this is pretty fucking hilarious. One of the funniest updates of this entire drama. Definitely subscribe, because we will be making fun of this retard whenever we can. But now, when it comes to fucking around and find out, we gotta see the shit that's been going on in California. We gotta see all the pressing matters, and how these people, these fucking rioting assholes that are burning down the city, are gonna face justice. So, lock in, boys and girl. This is a very, very, very fun time. And holy fucking shit, does this guy over here feel vindicated. I am the most vindicated blue anime person on the internet, goddammit. It's gotta be beautiful.
How are you? Good to see you all. What we have seen transpire in Los Angeles, California in recent days is shameful. Left-wing radicals waving foreign flags viciously attacked ICE and Border Patrol agents as well as Los Angeles police officers. These criminals injured police, threw rocks at police cars and officers, burned vehicles, shut down freeways, and lobbed Molotov cocktails.
Holy fuck.
All because the Trump administration was removing violent criminal illegal aliens from the city.
Wow. Based, huh? Oh, God, it's so nice that these fucking guys are actually tasting consequences. Man, I love when laws get enforced, you know what I'm saying? It's pretty great. I'm enjoying it immensely. True. Throwing pipe bombs, using mortars in public. We covered these riots before. In fact, because I am actually pro-violent rioters getting arrested, I've been getting mega canceled on Twitter to the point that it's very, very fun, and it will make good content. So in my next video, I'm probably going to be covering that. Great content. Let them keep trying. Mostly peaceful throwing bricks at cops.
These attacks were aimed not just at law enforcement, but at American culture and society itself.
Yup.
Rioters burned American flags, chanted death to ICE, and spray painted anti-American slogans on buildings.
I wonder how much of this was funded by like the George Soros fucking assholes.
But President Trump will never allow mob rule to prevail in America.
Based.
The most basic duty of government is to preserve law and order.
So
and
true.
This administration embraces that sacred.
I didn't realize this was political. How foolish you have been. Of course it's political. The people trying to cancel you are disgusting, inhuman pieces of slanderous dog shit. Thank you, chatter. I agree. We will be covering them in the next video. Because, dude, holy shit. People are so fucking twisted on this shit. For some reason, they don't understand that lighting cops on fire is a bad thing.
Responsibility. Democrats like Governor Gavin Newsom and Mayor Karen Bass shamefully failed to meet their sworn obligations to their citizens. They didn't have the courage to do the right thing and protect law-abiding Californians from rioters.
Pussies and cowards, all of them. Wet fucking pussies. All these fucking assholes in the Los Angeles, California government. Holy shit.
That's why President Trump deployed the National Guard and mobilized Marines to end the chaos and restore law and order.
Yep!
The mob violence is being stomped out. The criminals responsible will be swiftly brought to justice. And the Trump administration's operations to arrest illegal aliens are continuing unabated. When the initial immigration enforcement...
God, I'm so terrified that the people, like the press, are gonna be like, are they against peaceful protests? Holy shit.
Actions took place on June 6th. Mayor Bass took to social media to say she was deeply angered by what is taking place.
Oh!
Mayor Bass then embarked on one of the most outrageous campaign of lies this country has ever seen.
Yeah, every single person in the government decided to come out at the same time and be like, it's a peaceful protest, guys. I don't know what all the fuss is about. You know, the only reason why people are violent is because, police were sent in. Are you actually retarded?
Elected official, blaming President Trump and brave law enforcement officers for the violence.
What?
She accused heroic American immigration and customs enforcement officers targeting illegal alien murderers, rapists, and pedophiles of, quote, sowing terror in communities and disrupting basic principles of safety.
Insane that that's the case.
In our city.
I think it's important to note that they're not just deporting pedophiles and rapists. Obviously they are. But no, they're not just deporting pedophiles and rapists. You know what else they're doing? They're deporting people that entered the country illegally because, there are laws. Again, this is not coming from a racist place. This is not coming from the color of your skin. No, this is coming from a legal shit. If you're a white guy that invaded the country, get the fuck out too. It doesn't matter.
Around the same time, Governor Newsom claimed that immigration enforcement actions were causing chaos. That's how radical Democrats have become.
They've become so retarded that arresting people lighting cops on fire is the bad guy. That you are the bad guy if you arrest the terrorist. Because you're just inciting violence.
Their opposition to President Trump has forced them to side with illegal alien criminals in their communities and violent rioters and looters over law enforcement officers who are just doing their jobs. Mayor Bass and Governor Newsom fanned the flames and demonized our brave ICE officers. Instead of defending their city and their state, Karen Bass and Gavin Newsom claimed that in order for the riots and the violence to stop, ICE needed to leave.
Which is the most retarded shit in the universe. You do not reward the terrorists. This is never how you negotiate. What are you talking about? You absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, need to crack down on that shit. If you let them get away with it, bro, they'll just do it again. The reason why they have the balls to do this now is because they got away with it during the Black Lives Matter riots, 4 years ago.
And immigration raids must end. In other words, the position of the Democrat Party is that the federal government is not allowed to enforce our laws and to arrest and deport illegal alien criminals.
Which is completely legal, by the way.
They're attempting to use a violent mob as a weapon against their own constituents to prevent the enforcement of immigration law.
Correct. And last I checked, that is rebelling against a democratically elected country. A democratically elected president. You want all 7 swing states, all 7 of them.
Deeply un-American and morally reprehensible.
Completely true.
President Trump received a clear mandate from voters to reverse the illegal invasion ushered in by Joe Biden's open border and to end the lawlessness represented by Karen Bass and Gavin Newsom's California. President Trump promised to carry out the largest mass deportation campaign in American history, and left-wing riots will not deter him in that effort. Sanctuary City...
To be clear, Obama deported 3 times the amount of people that Trump did so far. Like, again, it's all actual performative bullshit. Like, it's actually insane. They gave these people so much power with their protests, you know, screaming in the streets, you know. The new chant that you hear everywhere, from Mexico to Gaza, globalize the intifada. And it's like, what the fuck? Pick a struggle, bro. Like, what is going on? What are you talking about?
Cities and states will no longer be allowed to shield illegal criminals from deportation. Just take a look at some of the illegal monsters who were taken off the streets in Los Angeles in recent days.
Oh, hell yeah.
A Vietnamese national, a known gang member with a conviction for second-degree murder. A Mexican national with convictions for child molestation who was armed with a dangerous weapon and had
honestly fucking wood chipper.
Previous arrests for robbery and domestic violence.
Wood chipper.
A Filipino national with convictions of rape, assault, burglary, and theft. A Mexican national convicted of statutory rape, narcotics violations, and hit and run.
Dude.
A Nicaraguan national with convictions for domestic violence and hit and run, and a previous arrest for willful cruelty to a child.
Oh my God.
And an illegal alien from Mexico.
It's crazy how every single time she gives one of these speeches, she decides to pull out an entire laundry list of rapists and pedophiles that they deported. And it's like, you're on their side. And it's so, like, poignant. It's so powerful. And the media is just going to be like, why are you arresting people that are peacefully protesting? Like, I know it's happening.
Was arrested after allegedly throwing a Molotov cocktail at law enforcement officers during the Paramount riots on Saturday. He is now being charged with attempted murder.
Fucking based. If you throw a Molotov cocktail at police officers, that is attempted murder. Oh my lord.
Law-abiding American citizens do not want these public safety threats living in their communities, no matter what Democrats like Karen Bass and Gavin Newsom may claim. And let this be an unequivocal message to left-wing radicals and other
you listening?
Parts of the country
wakey Hasan,
who are thinking about copycatting the violence in an effort to stop this administration's mass deportation efforts. You will not succeed.
I really hope not. I really hope not. It's gonna be crazy because we're getting closer and closer to a civil war every single day. Until some major shit actually happens, it's gonna get bad. I see so many different people yelling in the streets, yelling about how they actually want to start a civil war. There are 38 million people in LA. We could take you guys. And it's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Any lawlessness will only strengthen this president's resolve to defend the majority of Americans who want to live their lives peacefully, free from the fear of illegal aliens.
Yeah, I just want to wake up, have a day, go about my day, you know, make some content, have some laughs, make fun of some retards without worrying about, you know, civil war. Dude, what are you talking about?
As President Trump said, order will be maintained and illegal aliens will be expelled from our country.
It's almost like the right versus the left right now is just literally chaos versus order. It's kind of insane to see it happen in real time. Like, dude, the God Emperor Trump, like, Warhammer memes are becoming more and more accurate. Like, it is crazy. It is absolutely insane watching people bend over backwards, trying their absolute hardest to justify just blatantly breaking every law without consequences. Like, they're all retarded. Is it like just because it's like some super woke Nepo baby state and therefore people in LA don't realize how retarded this shit is? It's mind-blowing that people have been brainwashed to this degree that they think this is a normal, good thing to do against a tyrannical government. Holy shit.
In economic news, the latest consumer price index inflation report came in today below expectations again. Since President Trump took office, inflation has come in below economics expectations every single month.
Oh my God, every single person in the media needs to literally choke on a cock. Like, for real, for real. They've been screaming, tariffs are gonna make inflation go much worse, everything is gonna get bad, the world is gonna collapse. Tariffs are ruining everything. All-time low inflation. Like, dude, these people literally need to, like, fucking, you know, cut their own nuts off or something. I don't know. I don't know what are we gonna do with these people. You don't hate the media enough.
Core inflation held steady and remains at the lowest level since March of 2021. Wage growth remains strong. The average private sector worker is on track to see their real earnings increase by around $1,200 adjusted for inflation, and prices continue to fall for everyday Americans. Energy prices fell from April to May, Gasoline has fallen each month since President Trump took office, down 12% over the past year. And prices for meat, poultry, eggs, and fish are all down from April to May as well. Under President Trump's strong leadership, America is beating Joe Biden's record high inflation.
Biden! All right, no one saw that one coming. I mean, listen, Trump could have literally done nothing and beaten Biden. I don't know, man. At least Trump doesn't need to go around murdering eggs or whatever.
And once the One Big Beautiful Bill passes, our economy will boom like never before. This bill is the largest tax cut for middle-class Americans in history. The One Big Beautiful Bill gives a 15% tax cut to working Americans and families.
God, I love this, by the way. Less taxes? Oh, yeah, dude. Oh, every day.
We'll see increased take-home pay.
It's like, meanwhile, they're burning down their own houses in California and looting each other's stores. Like, can you imagine being a guy, a Mexican fellow, you move to America, you immigrate legally, you open up a little shop, and then some illegal immigrants come and burn down your shit and steal your fucking crap. Like, dude, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do, man? That's horrible. It's the worst situation. Oh my God. Mostly peaceful looting and robbing.
Of $10,000 per year. The One Big Beautiful Bill expands the child tax credit to $2,500 for more than 40 million American families with children. And the One Big Beautiful Bill cuts taxes for overtime workers, saving them nearly $2,000 per year, and ends taxes on tips, saving tipped workers nearly $2,000 per year as well. All of these provisions are broadly popular.
Dude, this is
with
so
an overwhelming support from the American.
It's crazy because almost everything Trump does is actually just the popular thing to do. Like, you know when he started off his presidency and he was going to be like, we are going to do common sense. That's what it's going to be. I walked in. I was like, wow, look how nonsensical Biden was all this time. He's crazy. I don't understand. And then he just rolls in common sense. And that's literally exactly what he does. Like, that's actually exactly what he does. Literally, that's exactly what he does. No tax on tips, tax cuts for everybody. Like, inflation is down, laws deporting illegals. Like, it's fucking crazy.
American people. We need Republicans in Congress to finish the job and send the One Big Beautiful Bill back to President Trump's desk for his signature as soon as possible. With that, we'll get to questions. I'm sure you have many of them today.
Oh, Lord, this is going to be hard.
Mitchell, the White House correspondent for the Daily Signal, who's not afforded a seat in this room, but today she is. Thank you, Elizabeth.
Thank you so much, Karoline. I have two questions.
All right.
First, a few Republicans on Capitol Hill are suggesting that President Trump scale back deportations, even as ICE is reportedly gearing up for raids in 5 more Democrat-led areas. Would anything dissuade President Trump, and would he consider sending in Marines if anti-ICE violence occurs in these cities?
Why do Republicans want Trump to scale back raids? I don't understand. I'm shocked that that's true. Do you know that apparently they just busted like this giant like pedophile ring of illegal immigrant people? I don't know if that's true. I'm gonna make sure that that's actually true. I have to make sure that's true before I say shit. All right, let's do some research on that one. But yeah, apparently they just did, not in California. They just did like a huge bust. Womp womp. Oh shit! Look at what the White House just posted. God damn.
Of rallies and protests on the streets of Los Angeles.
It was a peaceful rally. What is going on right now is also peaceful.
Here we are expecting rallies later on.
When they show up, we gotta show up even stronger.
Bro.
In Los Angeles, there is a new crowd of protesters that has been building.
CNN had it that these were rallies. Now they've become protests. I'm afraid that by tonight they become riots. If we don't have the ability to stand up and stop this violence before it consumes a great city like Los Angeles, then there's no telling where this could spread.
Dude, this looked like a fucking Call of Duty trailer. What is going on? That looked like a Call of Duty trailer. What was that? Holy. Oh my Lord. Yeah, no, that's wild. Holy crap. Yeah, but no, it looks like Republicans are winning the next election. I don't know what to say. Unless there's some crazy infighting, I have no idea how they're gonna lose the next election. Like they're handing it to them. Apparently, ICE just conducted a raid in Detroit, Michigan, and arrested 24 illegal aliens. Apparently, 14 people were arrested in a sex sting operation in Florida, including an illegal alien. So I don't know. I guess we'll see what happens. But it's not slowing down right now.
I think I may have just answered both of your questions with my opening monologue. The Trump administration is going to continue the mass deportation effort that the president promised the American public. Many of you were at those rallies in cities and communities across the country when the president spoke about his commitment to removing violent illegal criminals and anyone who has broken our nation's immigration laws from American communities. And God bless our ICE and Border Patrol who are working hard on that effort. This administration is going to continue that. And it's part of the reason we do need the one big beautiful bill to pass as well, may I add, because the bill provides funding to hire more ICE agents and Border Patrol agents, more personnel on the ground to conduct this important public safety work.
Thank you. And on another topic, President Trump has indicated that aides to former President Biden who used the auto pen to sign major orders and pardons should be investigated for potential crimes. That Biden allowing or at least being negligently unaware of this activity was...
I don't know if negligently unaware. Bro was fucking demented. Like, what are we talking about? Bro was like actually demented. Let's be real. Are we really gonna blame him for being dragged around by crypt keepers and necromancers? The answer is yes, we are going to blame him. Absolutely, why not?
An impeachable offense.
I haven't heard the president address whether it's an impeachable offense, but it could perhaps be a criminal offense, especially on behalf of staffers who may have been utilizing the president's signature without his authority.
Yeah, dude, if that's true, it's absolutely insane. It is nutty, bro. It's nutty. Can you imagine if that was true? As it stands right now, I believe it.
I understand that Republicans on the Hill are moving in the right direction to call attention to this. And
dude, I really want to see some of those inner working shit happen. I want to see some of the inner working people get actually cooked. Like, I am really satisfied seeing people that break the law actually find out instead of just basically saying, oh, it's a mostly peaceful firebombing of a department store, right? Instead of all that bullshit, I'm really happy seeing people actually finding out when they fuck around. However, another thing that I really want to say is I want to see some insiders getting fucked. I do. I really do. I want to see some Congress people getting cooked on skimming money off the top of foreign donations. I want to see some Congress people getting stopped for, I don't know, insider trading. I want to see some insiders I want to see the Epstein files. I want to see this shit happen. God, that's how you know that shit'll go in the right direction.
Bring in some former White House staffers who clearly knew more than they ever shared and never addressed with the American public. And so we look forward to seeing where this investigation continues. And I know the Department of Justice is also looking into the matter as well.
It's crazy, though. There's been endless content. Endless stuff has been going on. Like, we didn't have a moment to rest and waste time and be like, yo, Trump, we're all bored. Release the Epstein files. Like, come on, dude. Stuff's happening constantly.
Alex, good to see you today.
Good to see you, Karoline. Thank you. You mentioned foreign flags being blown during these protests. There are protest activities being organized for this weekend. Part of it are Democrats saying they want to reclaim the American flag. It's also being titled No King's Day. Does the president see himself as a king? And does...
Why are we playing this game? Does he see himself as a king? Bro won the popular vote. He won all 7 swing states, majority vote. If you look at the map, it's red for Republican. Y'all are retarded. All right, listen. These are the dumb questions that you're gonna ask every time, bro. Get out, and you shouldn't be invited back. Honestly, you should not be invited back to the White House.
Does the White House expect to see American flags being flown during these protests this weekend?
The president views himself as the president of the United States of America.
You know why he views himself that way? Because he is. He won the election. At least twice. All right, at least twice. We don't need to get controversial here or anything, but he won at least twice.
This is a constitutional republic, and we want to see all of our citizens be proud of the country in which they are given the privilege and the blessing to live. And I think that those images of foreign flags being waved by illegal criminals and by violent rioters in the face of cars blowing up and flames, and I have photos of that.
Oh, keep cooking!
With this violence and destruction that occurred, is an image that Governor Gavin Newsom owns. This is his city, and President Trump saw these images, and he said that is not going to be accepted or tolerated, and hence why he deployed the National Guard and United States Marines who have helped to quell that violence.
She cooked. Cooking with Karoline. I don't know why this isn't, can I say something controversial? How would you define terrorism? All right. Would you define terrorism people illegally entering a country, flying flags of a different country, and using a foreign ideology to try and destroy the government of the country that they're invading? Is that not exactly what happened in LA? Is that not exactly what happened Imagine having a country with a country's law enforcement getting attacked by foreign nationals illegally in this country, waving foreign flags and shouting down with the actual fucking system of the country they're invading. Look, I'm not trying to be controversial here, but this is what the Vikings did. Okay, the Vikings did the same shit. Where they jumped in, they yelled for Odin, and they started pillaging churches and shit, all right? Like, come on, dude. What is going on? Anyway, definitely don't take that out of context.
If I can ask another, if the president does end up deploying any National Guard members, perhaps Marines, to blue states, would he be in contact with the governors prior?
What the fuck? He was in contact with the governors. Stop making it sound like he's invading states illegally.
To this, would it be necessary?
Well, President Trump was in contact with Governor Gavin Newsom, despite some of the claims he's made.
Yeah, even though Gavin Newsom lied. Gavin Newsom, I don't know if you saw this. I covered this in my previous video. Gavin Newsom said, Trump never even called me. And Trump took a screenshot of his phone history and sent it to CNN. He did call him. Oh, Lord, that's crazy.
In the last couple of days, the president called the governor on Friday evening and told him to let law enforcement in California do their jobs. And the Los Angeles Police Department, by the way, are fantastic people. They are trying to do the work that they've so bravely signed up to do to enforce the law, but they have been kneecapped by incompetent Democrat policies and Democrat politicians who do not allow their local law enforcement to correspond and coordinate with federal immigration authorities. And so President gave Gavin Newsom a warning and said, get it together. 24 hours later, we saw more images like this. We heard about...
Dude, she did not even need to do this. She didn't even need to do this.
Border Patrol agents who were being the target of rocks. These illegal criminals were throwing rocks at our Border Patrol and ICE agents.
That's insane.
And so the president made the decision to federalize California's National Guard. Stephanie.
Thank you. Two questions on the China trade deal, if I may. First, will the president formally sign the trade deal? And if so, when? Secretary Lutnick sort of alluded to the fact that it might be in a couple of days, but I need to be more specific to read out.
Sure.
All right, so apparently Trump did a trade deal with China. A massive one. Obviously, the media doesn't talk about that because they're too busy talking about, I don't know, how one of the biggest cities in the country is on fire. But, you know.
I do have more specifics for you. I spoke to the president about this. He spoke to his trade team, who did a fantastic job negotiating this on behalf of the United States and meeting with their Chinese counterparts. The president is talking to them about the details of it now. But what the president heard, he liked. China has agreed to open their markets to the United States separately of this deal.
This is one of the biggest things, by the way, for America ever. China never accepted American products like this unless there were massive tariffs. And that's why the America ended up owing China like trillions of dollars.
And when it comes to this deal, we're going back to the terms that were agreed upon in Geneva for the release of some of those critical minerals and the magnets from China to the United States. And we have agreed to fully comply with the Geneva Agreement as well. So the president is reviewing the details of that with his trade team now, and you'll hear more from him, I'm sure.
And then the second question, on tariffs, Secretary Lutnick suggested that the tariffs would remain unchanged with China. I'm wondering if there's any room for them to negotiate even lower, or if this is the floor.
I won't get ahead of any further negotiations. We're in a great place right now, and I would add that this is the result of a lot of hard work from the president and his team, and the president has a good and respectful relationship with President Xi, and as you know, they had a direct conversation which led to this success that the president announced on Truth Social this morning. JJ.
On North Korea, has the president tried to resume dialogue with Kim Jong-un? There's some reporting that the president sent a letter and tried to give it to Kim Jong-un through some North Korean diplomats.
You mean Little Rocket Man? He's so little and fat and rocket-like. Little Rocket Man, I call him. I said, hey, Little Rocket Man, do we want to make a deal? Little Rocket Man, I'm not gonna lie. You look like you need some pussy. I feel like you need to blow a load before we have a conversation like this. You're coming in all tense. I could give you a pussy if you'd like. You can utilize it. Come back. Calm down. We'll make a deal.
Through the UN, and they declined to take it and send it to Kim Jong-un?
The president remains receptive to correspondence with Kim Jong-un, and he'd like to see the progress that was made at that summit in Singapore.
Elon, he used to be my rocket man. I loved him. He loved me. We got along very well, I might say. I think he still likes me a lot, to be honest. He likes me as much as a straight man can love another straight man, but, you're my new rocket man, Kim Jong-un. My old rocket man, he made an apology tweet. It's okay, we forgive him. He crashed out, it's alright. It was probably the ketamine. I don't want to judge. But you're my new rocket man now.
which I know you covered in 2018 during his first term. As for specific correspondence, I'll leave that to the president to answer. Sure.
All right.
Yeah, thanks. Back to the trade deal negotiations with China.
China.
Jimmy Lai, as you know, is a pro-democracy advocate, Catholic, sitting in solitary confinement in Hong Kong as we speak. His family believes he may be close to death.
Oh, fuck, that's horrible.
Did his name come up, Jimmy Lai's name come up in these negotiations with China?
Not to my knowledge. I understand the negotiations were very much focused on our trade and economic relationship with China.
Does the president believe he can free Jimmy Lai from prison?
I'll check with the president. It's certainly an important issue, and I'll get back to you.
Based.
Thanks.
I don't know the full details, but yeah, I don't think you want any American citizens in a Chinese prison, to be honest.
The president said yesterday that paid insurrectionists were behind or involved in the protests in Los Angeles. Does the White House have any more details about...
Please. Yes, by the way, there is details. They found out that a lot of the protesters were being paid by, like, those Act Blue foundations that suspiciously tie back to good old George Soros. The guy that everyone hates all Jews because of that guy, all right? Shout out to George Soros. He ruined Jews to, like, a lot of people. It's not easy, bro. It's not easy.
Who they believe is paying these protesters.
The president spoke about this last night when he returned from Fort Bragg, because frankly the president has a lot of common sense, and if you look at some of the imagery that we're received from the Department of Homeland Security and ICE and law enforcement who are on the ground,
sense, baby.
You will see boxes and boxes of very professionalized masks and rioting equipment being dropped off for these protesters. So it's a good...
True. If there's a giant box of rioting equipment, like, let's be real, gas masks and shit, like, come on, who's organizing that? Obviously somebody. Question
the president is raising, and one we are looking into, about who is funding these insurrectionists and these rioters and these protesters and these illegal criminals. And I have updates for you on the numbers, by the way. Since June 6th, there have been 330 illegal aliens that have been arrested as part of these riots in
Get 'em, boys! Gotta catch 'em all! You know what I'm saying?
Los Angeles. 113 of those illegal aliens had prior criminal convictions.
Oh, wow! That is a crazy metric! So aside from the fact that they were actually partaking in violent riots, which is a crime, and breaking into the country, which is a crime, aside from those two crimes, a third of them were also convicted for other shit. Unreal!
And overall, and this includes arrests of American citizens, there's been 157 people arrested for assault and obstruction-related charges, including...
Good shit.
The attempted murder of a police officer with a Molotov cocktail. So who is funding these illegal aliens who are coming in with this very professional riot gear? It's
not enough, but, it's a start.
Question everyone in this room who cares about truth should be asking. And we encourage your help.
Yeah, what the fuck, journalists? This is a room full of journalists. None of them do any research. They all just sit here and be like, I have a question. Does Trump consider himself a king? And it's like, lady, go kill yourself. Like, what the fuck, man? Like, come on, dude.
I'm trying to get to the bottom of that question. Indita.
Thank you. About Elon Musk, he issued an apology this morning. Has the president accepted the apology?
Yeah, I saw that, bro.
Or does he think it's too little too late?
The president acknowledged the statement that Elon put out this morning, and he is appreciative of it, and we are continuing to focus on the business of the American people.
And has the administration started a review of Musk's government contracts, something that the president said he's considering?
What do you mean by that?
I don't know what a review is supposed to be.
Has the administration started a review of the contract?
What the fuck review? What are you talking about?
Musk and his companies currently have.
Wait, he apologized? Yeah, Elon Musk, for those of you that are unaware, I will catch you up on the lore. It'll just take a second. I retweeted it, so I'll find the tweet in a minute. Yeah, Elon Musk tweeted, I regret some of the posts about the president real Donald Trump last week. They went too far. Ketamine wore off. Yep, so that happened.
Efforts have been made on that front as far as I'm aware.
Okay. And just one more, if I may, on just everything sort of we've seen so far.
It's so crazy. Elon Musk will go out there and call Trump a pedophile, apologize a week later, and Trump will forgive him. You'll get some Democrat misgender somebody and they are ostracized for life. Does that tell you something about, who embodies, let's just say, what Jesus would do? I don't know, man. I'm just saying.
are with the president's response to the LA protests. There is criticism that seems to suggest that the president responded the way he did because it was a deliberate, calculated attempt to sort of shift focus away from his feud with Musk. How would you respond to that?
That the president responded to the LA riots, condemning the violence to
Musk.
Why is she interrupting? God damn.
It's an incredibly disingenuous attack. The president.
That's insane. Hold on, one more time.
A calculated attempt to sort of shift focus away from his feud with Musk. How would deliberate, calculated attempt to sort of shift focus away from his feud with Musk?
She is alleging that Trump is causing the riots in LA to shift attention away from his Twitter beef with Elon Musk. How fucking retarded is the media? It's brutal listening to these people. All right, Chinese plant, deport her. No, I'm kidding. That was racist. But deport her. What the fuck? At least deport her out of the room. Deport her out of the room, bro. What is happening? Why do you have people like this in this room asking these questions?
How would you respond to that?
That the president responded to the LA riots, condemning the violence to
Musk.
It's an incredibly disingenuous.
It's not just disingenuous, it's evil. The reporters are doing this to plant these seeds in the minds of the listeners. Vote her off this spaceship. She is the imposter. There is an imposter among us. Get her out!
The president saw images of Border Patrol and ICE agents being hailed with rocks and Molotov cocktails. He saw vehicles being burned to the ground with illegal aliens flying foreign flags, and that's what prompted the president to have...
Dude, Karoline pressed A on the NPC and couldn't skip the dialogue. She's speedrunning that shit, mashing A, but this NPC just had way too much shit to say.
Have this response that has clearly worked, because last night in Los Angeles you didn't see many of those images, and I would add the governor and the mayor need to actually do more. I know Gavin Newsom had a big address to the nation last night. I guess he thought that's what it was for maybe his future political ambitions. But he spoke a lot.
Dude, Gavin's so fucked. He's so cooked.
A lot of words. We haven't seen action. California has been a mess for years because of the incompetence of Gavin Newsom, so the president was responding to that.
Where's the lie? Where's the lie?
Two questions for you. Sure. Over the weekend, Secretary Noem...
My favorite tweet from Gavin Newsom has to be when someone said to Gavin Newsom, it's like, is this you guys? And shows a picture of LA on fire, and Gavin Newsom says, that was a protest that happened in 2020, not in 2024. And literally everyone jumped on him and was like, so you're saying that these violent protests burning down LA happened under your watch in 2020, and now they're having it again, right? Bro got so fucked. It was crazy.
Sent a memo to the Pentagon asking Secretary Hegseth to have and direct the military that's on the ground in LA to arrest and detain what she said were lawbreakers. Is the president okay with that? And under what authority would the members of the military be able to arrest people inside the United States?
Under what authority could that... What the fuck retard question is that? She's CNN, by the way. This is why Karoline Leavitt wears the cross. I'm just saying. Every time someone from CNN asks a question, she grabs her cross and she fucking turns into ash. Like, dude, she throws quotation marks. What do you mean, under what authority? They're firebombing police officers. What are you talking about? Under what authority can law enforcement enforce laws? That's just my question for you. All right, dude.
I can't speak for a letter that came from the Department of Homeland Security. I can't speak for the president and what's currently happening on the ground now. And as you know, the president federalized the National Guard under U.S. Code 10, which he has the authority to do. And our United States Marines and the National Guardsmen and women who are on the ground right now are helping to create a peaceful environment for ICE and Border Patrol, who were being, again, hailed with rocks, who were being violently and viciously attacked. They needed reinforcements, and so our United States Marines who are on the ground are providing those reinforcements to ensure the environment is peaceful so that these raids and deportations can continue.
Holy shit, she pulled out the authority. And under what authority? She's like, under what authority? It's like she knew. She knew that she was going to be asked this retarded question. Oh my god, dude. It's fucking insanity. I don't know. I think it's important to watch these press briefings because I think it's important to actually see the answer from the White House, but also the questions from the retard reporters. Like, these are the people that are writing the headlines that people read.
He realizes they can't actually arrest people unless he invokes the Insurrection Act, which...
What do you mean he can't arrest people? For what? For bombing police officers or for looting stores? 10 stores were looted. Last night, at least.
I mean, seemingly was not something that was in Secretary Noem's memo, a clear distinction she did not make there.
Again, you're trying to conflate a letter that was sent to the Department of Homeland Security to the president's legal authority. The president understands the legal authority that he invoked, and that's the current situation right now.
When it comes to federalizing the National Guard, what is the specific criteria that the president is using for when he's deciding to do that?
These questions are like so wildly disingenuous, like every single one of them. It's shocking. They're overrunning the police and burning their cars. What the fuck do you expect him to do? It's not under control. So you mobilize people to make it under control. What the fuck is happening?
And in which states?
The president was asked and answered this yesterday. He wants to see an end to the chaos and the violence. He doesn't want to see law enforcement officers being attacked. He wants to see peace.
So under what authority is Mario allowed to step on Goombas on his way to Bowser's castle? That's what I wanted to know today.
He wants law-abiding Californians to be able to bring their kids to school, to be able to go to work without seeing this violence in the streets. That's what the president's hoping for, and that's why he's taken this action. John.
Oh my God.
Caroline, two questions on two separate topics. One has to do with the military parade taking place here in Washington this weekend. There's a lot of security around the White House complex, around the Capitol complex.
As there should. Remember when they like tried to assassinate Trump a couple of times? Remember when that happened?
Even along the tidal basin. Is that just proactive? Are you expecting anything in particular in terms of unrest?
These are proactive security measures to protect those marching in the parade, many of whom will be veterans and our brave men and women in uniform and Gold Star families. There's going to be military families from around the country who are flying into this parade. And of course, it's to protect the spectators who will be enjoying this incredibly patriotic show on Saturday. And I hope you all join us there.
And then secondly, Secretary Hegseth testified on the Senate side of the Capitol today. And he was asked about the administration's view of Vladimir Putin's intentions. And specifically, it was asked whether or not his intentions go beyond, his territorial ambitions go beyond Ukraine. When that question was posed to the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Kane replied that he does believe that his territorial ambitions go beyond Ukraine, but Secretary says it's not clear at this point. How does the president view this issue?
The president has spoken on this. He said, as he calls it, he believes Ukraine was always the apple of Putin's eye. And he made it very clear to Putin in his first term not to invade Ukraine. Putin didn't invade Ukraine because of President Trump's peace through strength foreign policy agenda and the effective deterrence policies that he implemented in the first term. Unfortunately, because of the weakness and incompetence of the previous administration, Vladimir Putin made the decision to invade Ukraine, and now we have this brutal war which the president is working very hard to end. Jasmine.
All right.
Thanks so much, Caroline. The president
kind of a nothing question.
That any protests on Saturday would be met with force. Can you clarify what kind of protest President Trump does support?
Dude. Guys, pay attention. Black woman is speaking, okay? Pay attention. I feel like I'm gonna have an aneurysm when I listen to these reporters talk. What are we even gonna do with these people, bro? Like, these are the people that write the news. These are the people that write the news that your fucking dad reads, all right? Listen, the retards see what these people say and make believe that that's reality. Isn't this crazy? Hey, listen to this one more time.
The president warned that any protests on Saturday would be met with force.
He did not. He didn't say protests would be met with force. He said violent ones would. What the fuck are you talking about?
Can you clarify what kind of protest President Trump does support or find acceptable?
The president absolutely supports peaceful protests. He supports the First Amendment. He supports the right of Americans to make their voices heard. He does not support violence of any kind. He does not support assaulting law enforcement officers who are simply trying to do their job. It's very clear for the president what he supports and what he does not. Unfortunately for Democrats, that line has not been made.
Bro, fucking killed her. She's killing her.
They've allowed this unrest and this violence to continue, and the president has had to step in.
So if there were peaceful protests on Saturday for the military parade, President Trump would allow that?
Of course the president supports peaceful protests. What a stupid question.
Brother. Oh, Lord. Oh, she killed her. Oh, Cooking with Karoline. Another episode of Cooking with Karoline. Ask stupid questions, get stupid answers. Holy based. God, see, this is, I love this, bro. I love it so much. You have to call them idiots. That's why I have dedicated this channel to calling retards retards. If they're retards, I'll call them retards. It's important. It is so important because How will people know if they're retards if you're not calling them retards? Holy shit.
Thank you so much, Karoline.
Raquel, and then I can go to you. Go.
Thank you so much, Karoline. I have two questions. One about Israel. Yesterday, the U.S. ambassador to Israel said the U.S. no longer is pursuing the goal of an independent Palestinian state. Can you confirm that the president is no longer supporting a two-state solution? And is President Trump considering diplomatic action against countries who takes action against Israel during next week UN conference?
Right now, the president views the situation in Israel and Gaza as deeply unfortunate and needing to end. And the president is realistic about the current state of affairs in this region of the world. And that's why the president has said the #1 focus and priority of the administration is to release all of the hostages from Gaza and to end this conflict as soon as possible.
It's crazy that there's still fucking hostages in those dungeons. It's mind-blowing. It's insane that there's still hostages there. Like, bro, and that they're turning down ceasefires. Like, what? How in this alleged genocide do you have terrorist organizations turning down ceasefires and holding hostages? Like, I don't understand. Holy shit. And then Greta Thunberg claims she was kidnapped. Then she claims she was kidnapped because they took her off her boat and put her on a plane when she tried to break a naval blockade. She claimed she was kidnapped. When you have actual people kidnapped in dungeons, which started this war.
Administration is still pushing very hard for the...
She almost saved Gaza, though. It was close.
...release of all the hostages. And as for what happens next, clearly Gaza is an uninhabitable place. It needs to be rebuilt with the help of our Arab partners, and the president wants to see that happen as well.
23 businesses were vandalized Monday evening. See, that's fucking crazy. That's fucking insane.
Just one on the G7 engagement. President Trump is traveling there on Sunday. Other presidents beyond the G7 leaders are also going. President Lula from Brazil, President Sheinbaum from Mexico, and President Zelensky from Ukraine are also going. Do you have confirmation if President...
Dude, that's gonna be tense as fuck. Zelensky, Sheinbaum, and Trump in the same room? Oh, Lord.
Trump is meeting any other leaders on the sideline of the G7.
Yes.
To know about the engagement.
I can confirm there will be quite a few bilateral meetings between the president and other foreign leaders. The White House is still working very hard to finalize that schedule.
We shall see.
And we will provide that for you as soon as we have it.
Thanks, Karoline. Just back to the China trade deal. Can you talk about the status of the export controls that the U.S. imposed? Are those no longer being imposed?
We are fully complying with the Geneva Agreement.
That was easy.
Go ahead, sure.
Thanks, Caroline. I have one foreign question for you and one domestic. The foreign, the president, of course, has said he would lift sanctions on Syria. Is there an executive order coming along soon to go do that? And is the president planning to try to get involved in any kind of a peace agreement between Israel and Syria that would disengage those two?
I'm curious to see what happens with Syria, because obviously the current leader of Syria was a terrorist before he basically took over the government violently. However, he is kind of... I don't know. It's scary to see what happens. Honestly, I want to hear what they say about Iran, because it looks like that Trump is trying to make a deal with Iran, and that shit fell through.
To the best of my knowledge, the Treasury Department took action after the president made that announcement in Saudi Arabia.
All right. And then on the domestic side, you were just asked about the First Amendment rights issues. In the president's comments yesterday, though, he just said protesters would be strongly dealt with. In your list before, you referred to insurrectionists, rioters, and protesters together. Obviously, they're quite different from your earlier answer. I'm struck by the fact that the president has not at any point said the most important thing here is to protect the First Amendment rights of peaceful protesters.
Well, the most important thing is probably to prevent, people from being murdered in the street. That's probably the most important thing. But I'm not sure what this question is supposed to be. He was just kind of yammering and jammering about how Trump is a threat to the First Amendment. Like, we've heard that a million times before.
I'm wondering, where in his hierarchy of interests does he place that? Is the First Amendment protection the most important? Is stopping violence?
What the fuck question? They could both be important. What are you talking about? Arresting violent people stops violence and does not violate the First Amendment. Who invited this guy? I don't understand, bro. Well, where do we find these people?
Most important, why is he not out saying all peaceful protesters will be protected?
I think two things can be important at the same time.
Oh my God.
And the president, as I just answered, supports the right of Americans to peacefully protest. He supports the First Amendment. But that is not the majority of the behavior that we have seen taking place in Los Angeles. We have seen mobs of violent rioters and agitators assaulting law enforcement officers, assaulting our federal immigration authorities.
Dude, how are these people that stupid? Like, I don't understand. I don't understand. But how can you possibly have that take?
And we have seen, as I said, this goes back to what this administration is trying to do and accomplish, and that's enforcing law and order in our nation's communities. And it's removing public threats from communities in Los Angeles.
The majority have not been peaceful. The majority have
That is not what she said. She said the majority that we've seen, you know, the shit that goes viral on social media.
For you, the arrest numbers. We've arrested nearly 400 illegal aliens alone, just illegal aliens who have been arrested in these riots since June 6th, since they began.
And they didn't arrest thousands of people, so obviously you're retarded, sir. Oh my God.
Hundreds of people who have assaulted law enforcement officers. Are you saying that that's that's appropriate behavior? Are you saying that
I'm not saying that at all. No, all I'm saying is you have to pick one or the other. Do you want peace or do you want the First Amendment? You can't have both.
Fucking retard.
The Democrat governor and the Democrat mayor of Los Angeles have failed their citizens. And the majority of Americans, the majority of Californians do not want to see law enforcement officers being assaulted in the streets. And thankfully, the president took action and stepped in to protect our federal law enforcement agents, to protect federal buildings, to protect the federal mission of deporting illegal criminals off of our streets. And that mission will continue every day as far as we're concerned.
Bro, this guy might be the most insufferable bald man I've ever seen in my life. Literally.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, after that question, I would leave too, honestly. Yeah, so this was Cooking with Karoline. I am very much appreciating the fucking around and finding out of the retards. Yeah, she absolutely obliterated a couple of them. She did. Of course the president allows peaceful protests. What a stupid question. God damn, she fucking cooked. She cooked! So yeah, anyway, I want to see the people that are actually committing crimes getting cooked for it. And that includes people that invade the country illegally. It includes people that are burning down shit, looting stores, and attacking police officers. And that includes Hamas, Diddy, Bin Laden, Epstein, Adolf, Piker being designated as someone suspected of being engaged in conduct with terrorists. Subscribe, because we're gonna be calling retards for as long as I feel like it. Bye. Like, subscribe, and this video was streamed live on kick.com/Nuxanor. See you there. Stay weird, man.